Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scarbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Very early in the morning. The sun is not quite up yet. Yesterday I've been sort of watching the hearings, the impeachment hearings with half an ear, actually. But I did watch Nancy Pelosi make her announcement, and she was, in fact, very upset that she had to make it. It looked like she was ready to cry, actually. And yeah, so, and then she had a little run-in with a reporter who asked her if she hated Donald Trump. And I thought her answer was very good and very heartfelt. I have issue with Nancy Pelosi myself because of the way she treats the progressives. Of course, I'm a progressive, so I would take umbrage, wouldn't I? But I thought I really sensed her sense of righteousness in the good way, righteousness in the good way. It's very interesting. I saw it in Adam Schiff. I see it in Nancy, Jerry Nadler. All this sort of standing up for what is right, and it's nice to see. Yeah, so I thought I would do a quick read on Nancy, actually, on Nancy Pelosi. Let's do a quick read on Nancy Pelosi, see how she's doing through all of this. I know a lot of people admire her, and I do too. I do admire her. I don't necessarily agree with her 100%, but I do admire her. All right. Okay. Immediate environment. We have the Nine of Pentacles. So this card generally means a sense of well-being and money and is people who acquire through their own effort, right? But this is interesting because the first thing I thought when I saw this card was, okay, here's the gift wrapped up nice and neat. So I feel like this is the gift being offered at this time, nice and neat, compact, and here you go. So we've made it as neat and compact as we can, with as much information as we can. Now, generally, pentacles aren't information, which is interesting, but this is what this card is saying to me at this time. So let's see what's crossing this nice packet of information. And obviously, you can see what it is. You can see what it is. So this, I feel, is the impeachment, the whole process, nice and neat. What's crossing it? Well, the Fool card is about new beginnings. And you would think that would be a positive, with this other card, right? But the first thing that came to mind for me was that the challenge is that we're not dealing with the old way of doing things. This is not the 70s, right? So they keep bringing up Watergate, and how it worked at that point. But we didn't have the internet back then. And people could stand on their moral values, I think, a lot easier, Republicans, because they didn't have this constant barrage of opinion coming at them. And they didn't know, like, they didn't know what it was going to cost them to make those decisions. So they made them from a place of, well, I don't really know what this is going to cost me, but I'm going to make it because it's the right thing to do. And the Republicans of this time don't have that, because there's this constant barrage of opinion toward them. And of course, politics is all about, it's all a popularity contest. And so in a strange sort of way, we're expecting people who are, working to be popular, right? To make good decisions. It's not that easy when you have all this pressure, and then add to that the pressure that, say, the Republicans feel from Trump always tweeting. So there's this crazy amount of pressure on on people. And so the challenge here is, how do we, and while I feel as though the impeachment inquiry was the right thing to do, and you make a decision, and I think it was a decision made with a lot of thought. It was not something that she necessarily wanted to jump into. But so there's this very sort of compressed feeling and control feeling around this impeachment hearing. But the challenge is, how does that work out in a world where all the rules have changed? Can the Constitution withstand this? I guess we'll see. Okay, let's see what's at the root of this. Okay, we have the Daughter of Wands here. The Daughter of Wands would be the Page of Wands. So this is information, messages, and so this is based on information that has come out. Keeping sort of your ears open and using your intuition. There is, in this card, we can see there is a figure 8, and so this is about, as you sow, so shall you reap. And so at the root of this there's a reason, right? There's a reason. There was an opening. There was an opportunity in this Ukrainian thing to sort of hold him accountable, hold Trump accountable for something. And I do think that she does understand that it is also tenuous. Like, even though it is, as far as I can tell, the right thing to do. And it's not because you like him or you don't like him, or she likes him or she doesn't like him. It's because his oath is to the Constitution, and he has broken that oath. And yet I think she knows that even with this, it's tenuous. It's a tenuous thing. That even if they're in the right, it may not ultimately pan out. And I say that because we're dealing with the Daughter of Wands. We're not dealing with the Queen. We're dealing with sort of the Page. And so there's this sense of, as experienced as she is, there's also this sort of sense of inexperience that she has, because she is working in a different time than she has previously worked. She in the 90s and the early 2000s, again, is very different from now. And so while the righteousness is there's still this sense of, is this really going to sort of work out? So let's see what's in the past. Yeah, okay, so we have the Five of Swords in the past. So this is cruelty. And I think that she is beyond upset about all of that. And she mentioned that actually in her little diatribe to the reporter, how he's cruel and he's this and he's that and he's this, but that's an election issue. This is the Constitution. So I think it's taken a lot out of her, quite frankly, to sort of stand by and wait and watch. And then, of course, she has all this pressure as well. So you could really feel the pressure and that sort of point of tension that she got to with this announcement. All right, let's see what's in the sky. Okay, we have the Hermit. So I feel as though there is this energy of, I feel like she's going to retreat, but the light she lit the light. So the light is going to show, and I feel as though her energetically, she's going to pull in with this, because now it's out of her hands, right? Now it goes to the Senate. And so it's up to the Senate for the next thing. So she did her work. She has lit the candle for all to see the light, and now she sort of has to accept and go within and figure things out for herself inside. The Hermit card is the 9 card. 9 is about healing, and understanding and compassion. And so it's actually quite a lovely card for her as a person, as a soul. Let's see what's in the immediate future. Okay, so we have the Devil card. In this deck, the Devil card has his feet on fire. So I feel like that's Trump, and his feet are going to be held to the fire. That's what that says to me. How it's seen from the outside, the Mother of Wands. And so people from the outside see her as the Mother of Wands, as opposed to the Daughter of Wands that she feels inside of herself, and so they see her as somebody who is powerful. They see her as somebody who is sort of protecting. You see that this snake has eggs, and that she's put her body around to protect. And so she's seen as a protective force. She's seen as a force for good. She's seen as a powerful woman, like that. Domestic situation. Okay, we have the Father of Wands now. Here, this is a rising up. This, I feel, is the domestic situation, not necessarily for Nancy, although for Nancy, yes, but also the domestic situation for us in this situation, because I don't think we can separate her from the country at this point, right? And so there's a rising up and a transformation, and fighting back. The Cobra, as I understand it, isn't particularly aggressive snake. It's not like you're standing there, the Cobra sees you and it comes after you. It will rear up and it will strike when it feels threatened. And so I feel like she was backed into as far as she could go. But I also feel like this energy of the snake is going to be Trump as he fights back, the Republicans as they fight back, even though they don't have the higher moral ground here. This is a survival thing. So this is a fight. This is a fight for survival. Let's see, hopes and fears. We get the Nine of Cups, but it was reversed. And so the Nine of Cups very often is sort of the trump card, the wealthy merchant. But I think that I generally don't read reversed, but I mostly check to make sure that the cards are not reversed. So when there is a reversal, I do look at it. The Nine of Cups is the wish card, but upside down, it's like all the water sort of runs out of the cups, right? And so I think that there is a fear of the suffering that the American people are gonna have to endure through this period. Yeah, 2020 is going to be quite the. I mean, it's been quite the. For how long now? It's like, but 2020 will be the year when we actually get to fight back in a way, and so and it is the crisis and the opportunity for us to transform and change things. So, but there is a worry that I think on her part that it's just too much pain. Although we've already had quite a bit. So, outcome. Okay, we have the Seven of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles is generally about having done the work, but there's more work to be done. And so I think that they've done as much as they can do up to this point, and now whether it's going to be enough or not, I don't know. And we have the Tower card. So the Tower card as a card for an outcome for Nancy, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what that means yet. So let me see if I have another deck here. And I can, thought I had another deck of cards here. Goodness great. Oh, right in front of me. Over here on the other side of the table. I want to see what this, I want to see if this is Donald Trump's downfall, or if this is that he doesn't, because it is Nancy's reading. So let me see what this, get a couple of cards to sort of elucidate what the Tower is here. Okay, what does the Tower mean at the end of Nancy's reading here? Okay. Being willing to fight, battle weary, a fool, and the Ten of Pentacles. I'm going to pick 5, I think. Oh, here we go. The Wheel of Fortune, okay. And the Death card. Okay, so these cards say to me that the Tower moment is actually going to be the Tower moment for Trump. That being said, as divisive and as difficult as Trump has been, he has exposed a lot of what doesn't work. The influence of money, the influence of it's just that with him leaving, everything changes, including the rules of the road for the Democrats. And so it's like we're going to be reinventing the whole thing. And we have to remember that the United States will be going through its Pluto return in 2022. And Saturn in 2020 is going to be sitting on Pluto in the United States chart. So it is a challenge of the power structures that we have. And so the power structures are being challenged. Even as Trump goes away, the structures that sort of created the monster are still there, still in play. And so on some level, this is sort of a handing over of the baton of power to sort of perhaps a new generation, a new way of being. And so I do think that, on a certain level, this is all lined up for it to happen this way. I mean, I feel that it's all a lesson for us to learn. And it is about endings and new beginnings. And we're going to start to see those new beginnings in 2020. And yet there's still stuff that has to sort of be swept away. Whether or not Trump is in or out, the intensity of the time is going to continue. Trump is a convenient focal point for it. But if he's gone, we're still going to have to focus on that which needs to be changed. And and I think that there's a part of her that knows that. But I also feel, as I sit here thinking about it and sort of sitting in the energy, is that she understands that this is, on a certain level, this is in a way her career wrapped up in a bow, in a way. And and I think she sees that I think she feels that she's done her best. And like I said, whether I agree with everything that she does, I think she sees the writing on the wall that things are going to change, and also the structures of power in a way that put her in power are going to be changing too. So it's all changing, folks. But it does look like this is going to be I mean, again, you watch the news and they're like, oh no, the Republicans are not going to, and you're like, and when I read the cards, there's a shift, there's a change. He's going. There's an end to his reign of terror, but that doesn't mean that the problems are solved. And so we're going to have to, continue to endeavor to, and somebody else will take up the sort of the call, and there are plenty of people who are waiting for him to sort of go away. I think into the great beyond. Right? I mean, I don't mean dead, but just like move on, right? And then we go from there, right? But we still have quite a bit of work to do in this country, as most people are hopefully aware. All right, guys. Wow, like I said, I'm a little ambivalent about Nancy Pelosi, but this was a very powerful reading, and I'm very inspired by her at this point. Okay. Take care, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Like and subscribe. I'll see you again soon. Bye.